Hey guys, what's up? It's Anish here, today with an amazing time traveling card trick to show you guys. I've implemented the finest concepts of quantum mechanics into this trick and I don't even know what that means. Anyways, a huge shout out to Card Shuffler 99 for teaching me this trick, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so let's take out the deck of cards. Okay guys, so we're going to start off by shuffling this deck of cards, hand it over to the spectator, ask them to give it a shuffle, because why not? So, I'm going to spread out the cards to the spectator and ask them to make a free choice. Select any card of your choice. Let's suppose they go with this one. So the spectator sees the card, and now I ask them to do one thing. I ask them to hold the card and pinch it with their index and thumb like so. So if they're from your position, they'd be pinching at something like this, but the hand would be, my arm would be on the other side. So they'd be pinching the card like this, and I'd ask them to remember this image of them holding the card and this deck spread out like so. Okay, you've got it? Great. So I square the deck up again, and I ask for their card, and I lose their card in the middle of the deck. I can deal a few cuts as well, just to ensure that we've lost the card. You want to go further than that? Yes, we could take it a step further, and will in fact riffle shuffle the deck as well. What, you want another layer of shuffling on top of that? You know what? I'm down. Why don't we take the cards and mix them face up and face down? How's that for a shuffle, huh? Are you satisfied yet? Probably, right? Let me square up the deck and show you guys that there are, in fact, many different positions that the cards could have ended up in. Supposing like this, face up and face down cards. We could have probably ended like this, face down and face up cards. And if we get lucky, okay, that's a face, yeah, something like this, 2 face up cards, right? It's so random, and it could be in any order. So this top card, 3 of spades, is it your card by any chance? So 1 in 52 chance I would have got that, but I was giving it a shot. I'm going to take this 3 of spades. I want you to hold on to that card again. So the spectator is going to hold on to that card again. Let's suppose the spectator's hand is imaginary in this case. And with the snap of my fingers, this entire deck has returned back to its normal position. And this card is, well, in fact, your card, the King of Diamonds. Great, so that was the trick. It's kind of like a time traveling trick. Went back in time to that original position. And with that being said, let's go straight into the tutorial. So, to start things off, let's take the deck, give it a shuffle. That's already known. That's the easiest part of every trick, giving it the shuffle. Then you proceed to spread the cards out onto the table. Make sure the surface is something like a matte kind of surface. It offers friction for these cards to actually slide through. My table beneath this, it offers no friction, so these cards just slide everywhere down there. So that's why I prefer having some kind of cloth or some kind of mat on which you perform sliding related stuff. You ask the spectator to pick any card of their choice, in this case the Jack of Spades. You ask them to hold the card like this, pinching it between their index and their thumb, and you ask them to memorize this image. And specify the details of them holding the card and this deck specifically, right? You want to specify that. So once you're done with that, you square up the deck, and now you're going to do a cut, bringing this card to the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the card in about midway. Okay, we're going to put the card in about midway, and we're going to kind of bend the card down as we're pushing it inside. So when we bend the card down and push it inside, we're kind of getting a thumb break between that card and the rest of the top packet. Okay, and once we do that, all we want to do is take around half of the first packet while retaining the break using our left thumb. Just take around half of the top packet and then take the second half of the top packet and just place the bottom packet on top of that. So our Jack of Spades is now on top. Let me repeat that one more time. It's a pretty simple cut once you get used to it. Just place the card, push down, and then from the top packet you do cut, cut, and bottom packet, cut, and Jack of Spades is on top. Great, now that we've controlled the Jack of Spades to the top, you could add in a bit of your own words here. You could say, okay, was that not enough of a shuffle? And then you go ahead and you riffle shuffle. Now when you riffle shuffle, it's pretty easy to retain the top card at the top. You just have to make sure that this card ends up at the top. Like, you have to make sure which is the first half of the pack at the top of the packet, and make sure that the first card in that ends up on the top. So you go like that, see the first card's on the top, now you could just normally riffle. Okay, so we're still retaining it, and now's when the extra part comes in. You tell them, okay, that wasn't enough either. Are you expecting more? You turn the deck over, and now you're supposed to count 2 cards from the bottom, like from this angle so they don't see it. And you're supposed to hold a thumb break there. Using your thumb, you're supposed to separate those cards. Now, if it's hard to exactly count 2 cards, I found that a difficulty at the beginning. You could just slide over those cards ever so slightly, and then push down with your left thumb, and then hold it and square up again, holding it with your right thumb. It's a bit more steps, but it makes it easier for you. Just push it a bit to the left, push down with your left thumb. So all this time it just looks like you're squaring up the deck, but in reality you're pushing down with your left thumb, you're holding with your right, and now you have a thumb break. And you could, whenever you want, transfer to your left hand as well. So you could transfer to your left hand, holding kind of with your pinky, and then continuing with your right hand. So you tell them, okay, I'm going to start taking a few cards. How's this first shuffle? You start doing this crazy mayhem. And remember to stop from the second to last card. Since you're holding 2 cards, they can't see that the bottom card is actually their card. That's why you hold these 2 cards. So you hold the 2 cards, and you stop here, and then you put this card on the top. Meaning these 2 cards on the top. So let's move on to the shuffle itself. How did we revert everything back to its normal state? If you really look at what we did here, we just put all the face down cards together and put all the face up cards together. Let me repeat that shuffle one more time, and this time show you guys in slow motion what I actually did. So I went with a few cards, I turn it over, I go with a few cards, I turn it over again, and as you can see that's face down. So it's just taking in some more cards in the face down direction. I'm turning it down, again it's face down. So if you could visualize it, it's not actually changing its position between up and down, although the common man would definitely fall for it because they're not used to magic. So do that, don't show them the last card, square up the deck with your right hand and place this on top. Great. So now you proceed to show them. We have some face up, face down cards like so. We have some face down, face up cards like so. And we have some face up cards. So here it's important to... Okay, so what we're trying to do here is we only have one face up card in reality because everything else is face down. There's one pair of cards which have face up, and the rest of them are face up completely. So it's important that you first access a part from the top of the deck, which is simple, then from the bottom of the deck, showing this, and then you want to access it perfectly in the center where both of them are face up. And this may be hard when the cards are flat like this. So what I suggest you do is when the deck is normal, so when the deck is all face down at the beginning of the trick, just try to bend the cards a bit. Bend the cards in this way, right? Because if you're going to bend it and then you're going to turn it over, that face up and face down mark is going to be more prominent. So even when you sandwich the cards like this a bit, you're still going to be able to see it, and you could perfectly cut in that position. And you show this to them, and to keep in mind that these 2 cards were face up at the top. So the second card from the top is your card, and the first card is some random card. So you showed this to them, and then you point at the top card to distract them from this bottom packet. So you point at the top card and say, the 10 of hearts, is this your card? And while they're focusing on that, trying to give a response, you turn this bottom packet around 180 degrees. So everything, and you just place this on top of the top packet, meaning everything here is now aligned perfectly in order, except these top two cards. So you flip the packet around while they're focused on answering this question. The answer is obviously a no. Say, oh, okay. So you turn the card around. That's basically a double lift. You're going to just use your thumb to count 2 cards from the top, and then you're going to turn those 2 cards over. Double lift takes a bit of practice, but once you get the double lift right, it'll be very handy for a lot of tricks. And you just give this card to them. They're still thinking this card is a 10 of hearts, and then you go to say, okay, the snap of my finger, we're going to travel back in time to when this entire deck was arranged, and if you turn that over, that should be your card. So that's the time traveling trick. It has a really cool effect. Now, it's all up to you to play around with your words, make it more dramatic, make it more effective. And with that being said, I hope you all have a great day, and see you later. Peace.